everyone. When we have cosine of theta equals -1 divided by square root of 3, and also that we're in quadrant 2, because our angle's in between pi divided by 2 and pi, we're going to find the value of this given here. All right. And before we even start on this, what I want to do is simplify this to make it a little easier for us. So basically we have 1 minus sine of theta divided by 1 plus sine of theta equals 1 plus, not equals, minus 1 plus sine of theta divided by 1 minus sine of theta. All right, and our common denominators, you just multiply these two together. So that's what we're going to do here. So it's going to be 1 plus sine of theta times 1 minus sine of theta. All right, and then we cross these two up to get the right numerator. So that's going to be 1 minus sine of theta squared minus 1 plus sine of theta squared. Now my denominator, I'm going to use a plus b times a minus b, and that equals a squared minus b squared. So that's going to be 1 squared, which is 1, minus sine squared of theta. Now the numerator, let's figure out what that is. So for this piece here, this is going to be 1 minus 2 sine of theta plus sine squared of theta minus, and then for this piece is the same thing, but everything's plus, 1 plus 2 sine of theta plus sine squared of theta. All right. Now since we have this minus here, what's going to happen? We have 1 minus 1, and we have sine squared minus sine squared. And this is going to end up being two negatives here. So basically what we have is -2 sine of theta minus 2 sine of theta. And using your Pythagorean identities, this is cosine squared of theta. And finally, we can simplify this. So we're going to get -4 sine of theta divided by cosine squared of theta. Now this is going to be equivalent to this, but it's going to be a lot easier to work with. So now let's go back to our original problem. Let's draw a little picture here. We know that cosine of theta equals x divided by r. R is always positive, so my r is square root of 3, and my x is going to be -1. So, and we also know we're in quadrant 2. So this is your x and your y. So basically your x is -1. I'll put it here. Your radius is going to be square root of 3, and that's approximately 1.73. And let's figure out our y. So we're going to use sine squared. We're going to use this identity here. Sine squared of theta equals 1 minus cosine squared of theta. So that's going to be 1 minus -1 divided by square root of 3 squared. That's going to equal 1 minus 1/3, which equals 2/3. All right, and that's sine squared. So if you square root both sides, you're going to get sine of theta equals square root of 2 divided by square root of 3. We do plus and minus. Now we're going to take the positive because we're in quadrant 2 here. So I have square root of 2 divided by square root of 3. Let's rationalize that denominator. So this is going to end up being square root of 6 divided by 3. All right, so let's put that up here somewhere. Let's see. That means, well, let's just leave it this way for now. If we look, that's this. But if we look at this, we already know that my r is square root of 3, right? So basically my y is going to be square root of 2, because this is going to be your y divided by r. So square root of 2 is a little bigger than 1. It's about 1.41. So there's that. It's going to be positive. And then, so put the point here. So this is your y is square root of 2. Your x is negative 1. Draw that down. And then this is your angle here. And then your radius here is square root of 3. All right. Now that we have everything, let's go ahead and go back to our formula. Our formula we had that we rewrote was negative 4 sine of theta divided by cosine squared of theta. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and use this one. So it's going to be negative 4 times square root of 6 divided by 3 divided by cosine squared of theta. So that's going to be negative 1 divided by square root of 3 squared. All right, so this is going to equal negative 4 times square root of 6 divided by 3 divided by 1/3. So what happens is the 3's cancel out here. So your final value is going to be negative 4 square root of 6. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.